to risk themselves and take chances expressing and exposing some of that difference to other people. I think that's just a damn hard thing to do. And the people that have agreed to be with you, to talk with you, and those of you who feel like you want to get involved and talk with other people here are going to be taking that risk. I'm going to ask is the people who agreed to be on the panel here, and I don't know them. I want to ask that they make some comments about their difference, their diversity, as they experience it. And I want to ask all of us to share as much of the difference as you feel able to share. That's the only ground rule I've got. So just to start off, I want to ask those in the panel who feel at this point willing to make some comments about how they experience themselves as different from the rest of us. And how we experience our difference.
My name is John Popart, and I guess I represent the Indian segregated men. I don't say any other anything, but I can identify them. But you asked what the difference is and how I particularly feel different than the rest of society. I guess I'm pretty good at that. I've been born and raised on a reservation. I went to all white schools. I went to all Indian schools. I went to mixed schools. Brother, that's different. I've also had a different type of government than the rest of you had. I've had Big Brother, the Bureau of Indian Affairs, which is a different type of government than you have here in the cities or even in your rural areas. We deal through the BIA, which goes up on through Washington. We don't deal with our aldermen, our county commissioners, etc. This is the area that I'm different educationally, politically. Socially, it's another thing also. You may find areas where people are quite receptive to Indian people, such as around the campus here. Indian people are pretty well accepted. But when you go around the reservation areas, this is where we suffer that discrimination socially. This is where opportunities are limited, curtailed, and sometimes blatantly excluded. So this is just a brief presentation of what difference is that I've been through.
My name is John Heck. The reason I'm here is because I've had a long history of problems for which I've been hospitalized, and this has made me different. As much different, I'm sure, as anybody here. And yet, something which is very hard to convince people that this difference is such a really relative thing. Each and every one here, given the right opportunity, do I have to use this? Yeah. Each and every one here, given the right opportunity at the right time, could have problems maybe that would lead to hospitalization. And I really feel that this, in this sense, it does not make me different, that we're all, you know, everybody has their own problem. If at a given time it becomes severe enough, then there's a hospitalization.
I'm Dan Lannery, and I'm standing in tonight for Harold Mordh from Union Gospel Mission. I'm one of his staff members, and I didn't know until I walked in just exactly where the ground lay in respect to what I was supposed to represent, because our ministry is involved just in the black community, the Mexican American community, in a number of different areas. The minority of juvenile delinquents is another ignored minority. We have 70-some of those in our care. But I was told just before we came on that Skid Row is my bag tonight. And that really is appropriate because that's the area where I am mostly. Before I say why I'm different, I'd like to say something for that segment that I represent. They're different in a number of characteristics. One is, if you spend time on Skid Row, you notice that it's hopeless. There's a hopeless feeling there. Secondly, there's a feeling of unchanging, that nothing changes, and that's related to the hopelessness. And then there's this feeling of loneliness, that no one gives a damn, that they're just part of the scab pool to do everything that no one else will do in society for next to nothing. Loneliness, unchanged, hopelessness. When the good professor was talking this evening, I started feeling some of this. He was talking about a society of change. Well, it's different down there. And I just threw some things together that I hope will become a poem, and I'd like to just share it, give you kind of the feeling I feel from Skid Row. Change, the only change is the wagon. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow are but idle cadence in the meaningless march into sameness. Unchanging change, the monotony of the meaningless march. Go here, go there, without a why. Going, coming, tramping, bumming. Alleys, doorways, boxcars, gondolas, whores, doctors, stiffs, glosses, papers, jugs, and stuff. Unchanging change, shuffling somewhere, nowhere. The only change is the wagon. That's Skid Row. And I'm different in that I'm there and walking those streets, trying to show a way of hope, that there can be change, and that loneliness can be overcome.
My name is Arthur Campino, and I'm from the Trevella. I guess the way I'm different is I have also had a long med history, and my friend down there represented the Indian segment. I'm Spanish. I haven't had any problems with that segment. I just graduated from St. Cloud State with a degree in accounting. But I haven't been in this wheelchair for long. For 20 years I was out in the audience just like you. But I made an adjustment to it, and frankly I don't feel any more handicapped than any of you do.
My name is Jack Baker. I have a question. I don't know why we're all sitting here telling how different we all are. We're not all different at all. We're all human beings. I think we ought to pass the mic around the audience. Ask the audience why they're all different. I find it very unproductive. Let's discuss a meaningful topic.
Paul wants to say that. Yeah, talk about
topic. Communes for the handicapped. In discussing minority groups, we find that down through recent history, it was first the fight to get society to recognize that crippled children should be educated at all. Even then, the crippled who were accepted in school were those with hearing limbs or withered arms and other minor infirmities. The more severely handicapped were excluded because the school faculty refused to take the extra time to find out that these children have the potential to learn. If it hadn't been for irate parents who fought boards of education, these severely handicapped may still be hidden in back rooms or in institutions. Too many are still there. Augsburg College and a few other educational institutions are pioneers in having classes which integrate residents, inmates, and patients of nursing homes, prisons, and mental hospitals in a learning situation. This integration is a vast stride forward, not only in bringing education to the disadvantaged, but also in educating the average person to the problems facing people in minority groups. And yet this giant stride is only one small step. These groups are to gain the potential that is within them. Problems facing them are innumerable. Dealing only with the disabled, we who cannot compete in the work-a-day world are almost totally dependent on the welfare department for survival. While our food and shelter are provided for in a better way than in previous generations, we are victims of a law passed in 1947 that allows us $11 a month for not only personal items, but also clothing. In this year of 1871, this ridiculous amount cannot and does not begin to cover items that are not luxuries. These things are minor necessities which make a person a well-rounded individual with a community, which everyone else has a God-given right to take for granted. In a recent issue of the Saturday Review, there was an article on the current movement to form communes of various forms and categories. Although I do not feel that the handicapped should be segregated from society as a whole, perhaps the various philosophies practiced in some of these communes would make us more accepted, as well as acceptable by a group or groups less rigid in age-old dogmas and more understanding of the handicapped as another minority group, with just as many faults, virtues, problems among its individual members as in any other categorized group. Are there any questions or comments from the group? And then we'd like to conclude with reactions of strangers to my handicap. These are views of F. Hall Brewer on various subjects. Reactions: stares, advertent stares, being treated like a child or an mentally retarded person, having people yell and mouth their words at me as if I were deaf. This used to disturb me very much. And I tried to think that I would do if I was an average person and had never seen a severely handicapped individual for the first time, what would my actions be? Also in social gatherings, parties, etc., I am sometimes utterly ignored in conversations as if I couldn't comprehend the subjects being discussed.
My name is Rita Doucet, and I'm here representing the women who are one of the quote, forgotten minorities, the 51% minority group, which is kind of interesting. And I was trying to think through my reactions to Dr. Brandner. I find that it would be very easy to be sucked in by his joyous dance of diversity. I think Jack just said something very important. We're not all so very diverse. And this young man just said that how he would feel if you were an average person. Wow, not to feel like an average person is it's very shocking. I think we need to support diversity, but we have to stop defining people as abnormal or as different. We have to stop defining people by their differences, and then if they're too different, locking them up. Women's roles have been defined. Women who don't follow those roles are, in some ways, ostracized. There are a lot of psychological kind of things that go on to keep women in their place. The same thing happens with any kind of sexual diversity that people are engaged in. People are not allowed to hold jobs if they don't obey society's norms. And in a sense, we're all people. We're all average people. Everybody has some differences. Everybody's unique, but we're all part of the same game. I just wonder if the word toleration may be important. We thought we were really being big-hearted when we could tolerate the handicapped and tolerate sexual diversity, for example. But instead of tolerating it, perhaps we should start encouraging all kinds of experiential diversity and communicating and living in pluralistic kinds of communes with diverse kinds of people, finding out that we're all human. I don't know, any comments or?
I also get to be here, I guess, because I'm a woman. Possibly because I represent the woman and mother segment of being a woman, if there is such a definable category. One of the things that just impressed me was, in the reading that we just heard, was the commonality that I felt with some of the things that have been said. Nobody's going to say that I'm a clearly handicapped person. Nobody sees my wheelchair. I don't have a stigma of any kind, a brand on my forehead or anything. And yet, having experienced with some of my neighbors, I live on the nearer side, some of the things that women have to go through in order to acquire for themselves the kind of treatment that we think of as ordinary human treatment. You know, going to a dentist, going to a doctor, having prenatal or postnatal care, discussing the problems of an unwanted pregnancy, talking about economic standards of living, talking about ways of raising children. And so many times, the same old thing comes through. You feel like a child, you're being treated like a child, people explain things to you in the simplest possible, most insulting, derogatory language, as if there's something not only wrong with your hearing and your mind, but with your vocabulary as well. This very paternalistic kind of, well, you poor little thing, we'll help you out. I think instead of just being so full of joy and celebrating and just rejoicing in all the pretty pictures and music we can hear, I think channeling of the strength and the celebration that we all have within ourselves that makes us the same rather than different. Maybe a little forthright and loud-spoken suggestions about actions that people might take. I don't see why we should just celebrate by dancing around and moving back and forth. Maybe we should celebrate by getting rid of some of the paternalism, some of the cruelty, some of the thoughtlessness, and possibly some of the not-so-thoughtless discrimination that all of the groups so far having been represented have to suffer from. I think we could be constructive in that way if we would think about celebrating not just by taking a drink or turning on or whatever people want to do, but celebrating by making ourselves whole and refusing to kind of knuckle under the continued pats on the head and silly sick smiles and comments about, we like you even if you are whatever you are. I think, we don't have to be tolerant of that kind of treatment if we're really going to be celebrating what is inside of us. I see a hand.
My name is Barry Cohen, I'm a grad student at Southern University. I'm here to speak in relation to the member report. But what I'd like to address myself to in relation to what all groups that either we're here to speak for or speaking about ourselves. The one thing that we do have in common is that this society has counted us out. And I think that we have to talk to a degree about what the structure of this society is in relation to all of us, the people who are speaking about here. For one reason, as I see it, as I've seen in relation to retarded people, let me speak to this area. This society is organized to maximize output. Well, this is a profit-oriented society. We maximize output at the minimum amount of cost. All those people who can participate in the society can contribute to the maximization of this output for the profit of others. All participants in this society. Old people can't do this anymore. Get rid of them. People who can't walk, get rid of them. People who can't read or write, get rid of them. People who get sick of it and treat, get rid of them. If they're black, count them out to start with, because there's not enough room for them. The Indian, the same thing. You go right down the line. If you can work and make money for somebody else, you're all right. And if you can't, you're out. And that's what I see as the groups, you know, that we represent and we're speaking for, we're speaking for ourselves. This is what we have to address ourselves to. Same thing for women. You know, here's my own chauvinism showing. You know, I put them right at the bottom of the list, and that's probably the biggest group that I'm talking about. Let me speak in relation to the retarded as the scheme that I'm working from operates. The most valued thing in terms of production in society possibly is reading or writing. The most tremendous demand placed upon anybody who goes out looking for a job is you gotta read, you gotta write. And let's forget for a minute that it's this very society with this profit orientation that makes it so that some people never be able to learn to read or write. But let's talk about, you know, the reading and writing this time. There are a million and one things that people can do, all kinds of people to contribute to this society outside of reading and writing. Some people are talented musicians. Musicians can't make people money, so let's forget about musicians. People are talented artists. The average artist earns $1,500 a year, so let's forget about artists. Somebody who can't read or write could possibly do these things. He might be great at piano. He might be great at something else. There's a million and one things that all kinds of people can do to the best of their ability that can't make people money in this society, therefore they can't do these things. So I'd like to use this to kind of set the tone for, you know, what we're addressing ourselves to tonight. And I'll pass the mic to somebody else.
First of all, I came here tonight to sit on a panel, and I passed up some other obligations tonight. To be here, to be in a college atmosphere where people are learning. I'm sitting up here on a panel, and a panel of forgotten minorities. Believe me, we're forgotten because I haven't got one question for you. I think that's sad that we sit out here speaking and that you don't react one bit. I think you have to get up your duck and think a little bit. Let's interact a little bit. Otherwise, I might as well go home or I'm not going to sit up here with you.
Right. Got one back there.
Yeah.
Would you speak louder?
I have had a approach to take. I feel like I can relate to you. And my approach is that I would like to see for this ethno-technicism we have, I'm sure you've all felt, is an approach towards the uniqueness and the importance of individuality. I know in striving for my own individuality, I know you feel a special individuality, maybe not my choice, because this is forced on you. But by seeking my own individuality, I've been discriminated against. I usually, the more I strive for it, the more I feel fear, anxiety, rejection by society. And yet, through this rejection, with the contacts I have made with individuals, I know that I felt love in a deeper sense, and the people that I do meet, I meet with great grace. And I think if we could approach this ethnocentrism and get this individuality thing through to society, possibly through education or the media, and if there was a greater appreciation, I think this would create a greater understanding, which is what I'm assuming we're striving for.
I concur wholeheartedly. I think the whole message of the talk tonight by Dr. Brandner emphasized one thing, that's the celebration of our own individuality. And this is what I got out of it. We're in a society that places a great premium on standardization. And necessarily those that are different from standardization are either going to spend their life trying to conform or they're going to try to pursue their own individuality and get right back to their own mind and consciousness and conscience. And you have every right to pursue your individuality, and each one of us have. Now you can go to the other extreme and become eccentric in your individuality. I think there's two extremes here. You can get high on dope every single night, or something like that, pursue your own destruction. Until the logical conclusion of that alternative is suicide. And that's the only proof you've ever lived for some people is to commit suicide. You toy with it, you play it. You have to build on something solid. But only you can in the process. It's the process of becoming rather than having arrived. Because once we think we've arrived, we're actually going backwards. So we're celebrating this pursuit of striving to find out who we are. It's not something that any of us enjoy, but as soon as we stop it, we can't even say I because we don't know who we mean. When you say the word I, you're saying the sum of all your experiences. And your experiences make you I, make you the person that you are. And everyone has to pursue it according to their own insights, their own background, their own experiences, their own goals, their own principles. But all of us are different. And we can afford to be different if we've got the structure to maintain the fact that you can say I, and not just we. You need a commune to say we, so that in turn you can say I to yourself and know what you mean. And that gives you the strength to pursue and to become even more. Amen.
I'm aware of the fact that I enjoy hearing your remarks about that, Jim, but I'm aware of the fact that from what I've heard from some of the people here, I have an idea that for some of us to express our diversity is a bit more difficult socially than for others. And while it's nice to be unique, it's not nice to be unique in some ways, and it's okay to be unique in others. And I'd like to get some reaction to that. And I also want to throw something out to you, which is that somebody suggested to me the possibility that at some point, maybe now, maybe in a bit, we break up some so that people can have a chance to interact more closely with some of the people who are here, if you'd like to. I'd like to ask you about that, but Wes and Susan.
Well, could I ask the moderator, please, not to analyze or attempt to analyze the feelings of people who are here, that we don't feel we could express ourselves or speak for ourselves or speak about the people we need to speak for. Let's leave this to us to say.
Well, I'm in the audience, and I don't because I don't feel any dialogue, and I have a lot of communicating with 200 people, and I'd really like to get to know a few people and share myself a little bit better, which I do small groups.
Can you all hear that?
No. Well, I'm a member of the audience, and I'm the one who suggested breaking into small groups, because I can't get to know anybody that's lined up as panel members, and I'm not going to get to know them very well, I'll just stay that way. And breaking into a small group, I think we share ourselves better.
I'm Jerry Nelson from the Minorities Opportunity Center. Public work anyway.
Just like you're doing it.
My minority group is the elderly, and I don't think anybody here tonight would be acceptable in my program unless you're very well reserved. The elderly are really a forgotten minority, and the agency I represent does all they can to keep them within the social stream today. I'll be glad to answer any questions if you're worried about getting old, and you should be.
I'd like to hear yours.
My whole problem with the whole, I don't need it. My whole problem with the whole thing is that we're sitting here talking about differences, and yet we're sitting around with these, end quote, forgotten minorities, whatever the hell that means. Who's forgotten who's a minority. If I say I'm a minority, that implies there's a majority, and then I go into a paternalistic bag and say, hey, let me be like you. And that crap is old. So, right on the panel and talk about I represent a minority, forgotten implies there's a majority over there somewhere that's got something that I want. And, you know, the whole thing is just blowing me away because I don't understand it.
Yeah, but you see the majority's in control, right?
Yeah, but that doesn't imply that they are better than me.
I assume that wasn't.
So what does minority mean?
I think you have to recognize, though, that they are in power. You have to start there, before you get to I mean, I'm thinking about the legislature, that just here in Minnesota.
Okay, so they still people, they got pants, they wear shoes and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, it's surrounded because in this morning's paper, they gave themselves a raise, and they reduced the benefits for these minority people who are here.
What minority people? Where?
In the wheelchair. The people who are getting welfare from the...
You consider yourself a minority?
Yeah. My God.
Well, okay. You've got some things going on. I got some things going on, but I don't consider myself in quote a minority.
I think it's a matter of numbers, isn't it? Who is in power?
Well, no, if you talk about numbers, then all y'all are minorities.
No, women aren't.
I just don't, personally, I can't dig the term minority and talk about, hey, something's the matter, so I got to change some things.
That's not what
Be
we're
like,
talking about.
well, that's what I'll keep hearing.
We're talking about the fact that if you're in a quote minority group, somebody expects you to change. Be something else. And we bought that.
You bought it.
Maybe people have bought it, but they've started to say no more.
I've got kind of a question, you know. If we talk about divided minorities, we've got divided minorities. But if we talk about people that have a common person, to what she was saying, who have an active force of human beings, you know. Now every day I read in the paper the American Indian movement's doing that, the gay liberation's doing this, and the black is doing this. We're maintaining a minority, as I perceive it. Now I'm slow in moving in this direction. I'm trying to destroy my identity and create an identity. I'm trying to destroy my stereotypes and these types of things. So in a sense, before I can develop my identity, I have to destroy it as it is. But I would see that as long as each group does the thing, we maintain a minority. The problem that I've been having is you got all these different people, but what the hell happens if you put them together? You know, just as people, you know, thought of human beings together. How do we break away from we all realize that minorities exist. And I think it's something what you were saying. Well, let's can that jazz and get down to getting everybody together. Now, you know, like I said, I'm kind of behind in moving this because I'm just beginning to redefine things to me. The problem I see is getting the people together. We talk about the dance of diversity and all. Well, how do we get people together? You know, people who are different. Because here we're bitching like a bunch of cows. You know, what does it mean when we came together because we thought we had a purpose together and all we're doing is arguing? You know, my question would be, if you want to talk about questions, how do we get us all together? Kind of a rebirth of everybody.
Anybody want to pick that up? How are you suggesting getting together? You mean a coalition type?
No, that's what's troubling me. That's what I'm asking.
Okay, as long as I am a minority, classified or categorized as a minority, I choose to remain a minority. But yet, I don't want to be like the rest, the majority. I don't want to be like them. The only thing that Indian people are asking for, I will speak specifically of Indian people, because that's where I'm an expert, is that we merely want other people to recognize what we are. Not to gain status, material wealth, or anything of that nature. People have a misconception of us. And this is the whole thing here. I think we have to improve communications. That we have to get a little humbleness and a little humility in our lives.
myself, and the majority. Both of us do.
I hear you saying two different things. Yes, you have every right in the world to maintain your identity, but for you to want to maintain your minority and whatever it is, you know, that's a whole different thing. I mean, if I wanted to retain my minority status, which, you know, it's not really there because it's here. You know, the minority stuff is in your head. As I tried to point out earlier, I'm not one damn bit different than anybody else out there. But if you breed off that kind of thing, if you breed off this thing that might be a minority if you let it, that's, you know, you're making your own bed.
I'll pass it back to you in a second. As I see it, the thing that makes us minorities, the minorities that we're speaking about, the things that make us different is the way that other people relate to us. That's what makes us different. That they don't treat us like they treat the guy next to them. That's what makes a minority. That's what when that difference, not only is it just a difference, but it's a difference that makes you something less than the person who says you're different. That's the crux of it. And why? It doesn't have to do with what's going on up here. It has to do with what people get out of saying that one person is less than somebody else. Somebody gets something out of that. They get some kind of satisfaction, possibly out of feeling they're good themselves. They may make money off of it, which I say is probably the biggest thing about it. But this is the thing. You're different because I say I'm better than you, and that I can get something out of saying that I'm better than you.
I'd like to take exception with something that was said before. I think it bears on partly on what Barry said and partly on what John said previously. And also I'd like to disagree with what Jim said to let them know what I'm doing so they can respond. And hopefully you'll interrupt us. We do not have every right in the world to be individuals. If we are legally described as a special group, for instance, the handicapped, the blind, the mentally retarded, children whose parents are not married, women who have children and do not have a husband supporting them, we are legally classified as a group, apart from the group that we recognize as the human race in whatever area we live in. And then other people take it upon themselves to tell us what we can do and what we cannot do. You know, the architects at the downtown library have pretty clearly, until recently, told handicapped people in wheelchairs they cannot use the library because it's very difficult to go up and down the stairs if you're in a wheelchair. You can't go into the county courthouse until very recently if you're a person who is blind because there's absolutely, unless there's someone there guiding you, no way for you, there's nobody, no doorman, nobody there to facilitate your maneuvering in your own building. So you've been told that you cannot use these supposedly open public facilities. If you are a child who is raised in an other than what we call normal family setting, maybe it's not the legislature that tells you this, but it is the general sum of societal acceptable behavior patterns that tells you you have to tolerate being called names, that tells you that the children in your school who do have two parents in the home can make fun of you and get away with it. It tells you that just because you don't have the kind of environment that other children have, you have to somehow apologize for your existence. And the great, whatever you want to call it, silent minority of people clinging to normalcy, have a right to make you miserable, to deny you employment. You know, if you've been a mental patient and you go to an employer, I'd like a job in your firm, and I'd like to be a manager, I'd like to be an academic dean, I'd like to be a professor of philosophy. There's no law in the books that says you won't get the job, but very, very few people will hire you simply because they ascribe to you membership in a quote-unquote minority group. It's not something that you totally make up. It's not a fantasy that everybody here has, that society is describing them and us as different.
You said we could interrupt. You said we could interrupt if we wanted.
Right, absolutely.
Are you saying that you think those legal kinds of restrictions are valid, or are you saying they're not valid?
I'm saying that they are absolutely not valid. However, they are absolutely legal. They're real. It's not fantasy. It's not like some phrase that silent majority phrase that a newspaper man made up. No, they're real things that we have to contend with in our lives. So pretending they're not there won't make them go away. I think that we have to think about maybe it would be a good idea to break up into a few groups so that we can talk more in terms of what people can do about things, not just about whether or not it's a fact and whether individuality is being cramped. You can be defined as the most normal person in the world, and your individual expression of yourself is being cramped. And if you haven't ever felt the pain of it yet, we'll just wait a few months and it'll come to graduation.
Wait on. I think what you have, what I was trying to convey, that hopefully a minority person, and I'm saying this as a mental person, mental patient, that you have to allow yourself to be hurt. And when you are hurt, fuck it, they weren't worth it. You can't, if you're going to build on that and grow on that, you're going to thrive on it. You're going to thrive on that situation. But if you just open yourself up, and I had this job thing, and you just have to establish priorities and realize that people that are going to judge you or whatever, just screw it. They're not worth it,
I would say, on your point, that that's a good way possibly to reconcile the existing way that people relate to you with yourself. That you can reconcile this by saying, well, I'm all right, and let them go to hell. But the fact remains that people, let me talk to the retarded again. Names for the retarded. We're using a very delicate term here, retarded. Let me run down the list that's been used. Idiot, imbecile, moron, stupid, dummy, nitwit, nincompoop. You name it. And we can go through every group that's represented here this evening. That there are names that distinguish us, these people, from the audience, the people, the mass. Somehow we are not brother, we are this, that, and the other thing. It's the same thing that says that you go over to Vietnam, you can kill gooks. You couldn't kill your brother, but you can kill a gook, because a gook isn't your brother. He isn't another human being. You can say, well, you can't read or write. You're stupid. You can't work here. You wouldn't say that to your brother, but you can say that to an idiot, imbecile, moron, nitwit, nincompoop. You can do the same thing with any one of the groups here. You wouldn't deny it to your brother, but you would deny it to a person who's something less than your brother. And why would you do that? Why does this society distinguish between people? Who benefits from making these distinctions? Why are these distinctions made?
I'd like to say something. I consider myself a minority. A few years ago I was walking around, and then I was in a car accident. All of a sudden you put on welfare. Well, I know welfare gives you room and board. $11 a month to live on. Clothes, toothbrush, toothpaste, things like that. How can you possibly live on that? And being in this situation right now, I never knew this before, how tough it was. But I consider myself a minority because how do you get out of this? I mean, if I went out, I'm going to college now and I hope to get a degree. You get the money, then you have to have somebody to help you all the time. So you pay that money right back out. So what's the sense of getting a degree? Because you might as well just live off welfare. There isn't any motivation behind it. This is one of the things about the minority group of the handicap. And I'd like to know what is normal for you people.
I hope I don't impress you as being history or anything. I'm trying to be progressive. My approach is to have an impact on society that they can't ignore. I worked at the university hospital for a year. I worked with every kind of patient, almost every kind of minority, and I learned these people are beautiful. These people have potential. as human beings, these people have just as much to offer. Now, I want society to realize that, and I think when they do, maybe you won't have 100% improvement, but I think you'll have a 90% improvement in relationships and attitudes towards minorities. I don't think you can put every person in society into a hospital for a year and let them work there and relate to people living and dying and going through the functions of life and knowing that they can appreciate life to the fullest extent that you can. But I do think the approach and the answer is to have an impact on society that they can ignore. And I think you can do it through the media. And a good example is the motion picture industry. Half of the black discrimination we have is attributed to that. I mean, they taught the public what pickaninnies were and everything else, and the whole picture they got through to the public of the black person was through the motion picture industry. Well, I think we can do the same thing with the minorities. We can have an impact on them to the point that they can't ignore, that they're going to realize that these people are beautiful human beings.
You can have that out of games, but you have to have the legislation to change with it.
The legislature is made up of people.
Money is the only the last time I ran this job, I wrote 36 days. 36 days I have to tell you and choose none.